Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So this video, with my glasses on, the two videos, this is a marathon video. The kids are being good. They probably just go to their tablets so that I can do these videos. I apologize for the camera rocking around the place. The camera is mounted to the table that I'm working on, so it'll shake. So this video is going to be about my wicking and my wick testing process. Now, I had planned to open the business, to open Sugar Orchid at the end of February. But what had happened was the wax I was using from Blended Waxes sweat. I burnt one of the candles. I thought everything was good, burnt the candles, and it started to sweat while it was burning. So I had to redo everything. And I just changed the wax, because the other thing too, I bought a second batch of that same wax, and the second batch just had so many air bubbles. From the time I was heating it, you could hear the popping of the air bubbles. And then when I made the candles and they set, it was just frosting and air bubbles all over the candles. I kept having to redo the tops, trying to get the smoothest. Like this one, this is one of them. I was able to get just like my kids used to tease me that I'm on candle top patrol, because I would heat the top as you do when you're making candles, and then I would have to stand up and wait to see when an air bubble will pop up, heat it with a heat gun. And that's all. I spent maybe an hour and a half every morning after I made the candles trying to get these beautiful smooth tops, because I don't want all that frosting. See, and I still got, if you can see it, see here in the corner, still got bubbles, and it was mad bubbles all through this. So anyhow, that's a lot of work. I have 7 children, a business to run, and a house to run. I do not have an hour and a half of my life to heat candle tops, so this wax had to go. So I decided to get coconut apricot wax from Virginia Candle Supply, which is another story, and I'll do a video about that, about suppliers soon, inshallah. But I have their wax. I had tried, because I love Nature's Garden, their customer service. I just love Nature's Garden, mashallah tabarakallah. Not only is it an hour away from me, really great service. I tried their Pillar of Bliss wax, but it is a double pour wax. You got to pour some and then come back and pour a little bit more, so you don't have that dip. Again, too much work for my life, so I am squashing that. I didn't repurchase that at all. I have a TW31 wax. I'm using it for my wax tarts from the same Virginia candle, but they're giving me a hard time to give me the recipe on their site. All of the candle suppliers, you go on their site, they tell you heat to this, add fragrance oil to that, pour at this temperature. They have nothing on their site about this wax, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy it. Then I'll message them and they'll tell me no, it's like a state secret. Anyhow, so I am wick testing now with this wax. I want to say with any wax, I would recommend wick testing at half. And I learned that on the Facebook group for love of coconut wax, because a lot of the other candle making Facebook groups are for soy wax. A lot of the candle makers in there use a soy wax blend. So I went to groups that specialize in the wax that I was using, which is which is coconut wax. So when you test your candles, whatever wax you're using, it'll behave differently from the top to the middle to all the way to the end. Completely different. Now that's because when it's at the top, the heat is just going straight out. Smell good, behave good, yes. Then it gets to the middle, is a little more heat, because there's nothing between here and there to contend with, so the heat is getting to the jar itself before it gets out. And the same thing at the bottom. So I middle test, then I work my way down, or I'll pour it out to maybe about here and see how it happens. Is that same wick that behaved good in the middle being too hot when it gets lower? If it's too hot, if the jar is getting too hot, then that wick wasn't good, even though it behaved good in the middle. If it behaves good all the way at the bottom, then more than likely it's going to behave good in the middle. It's going to behave good at the top. You understand what I'm saying? Because the wick is going to, when I say behave good, it's not going to heat up the jar too much. Your jar shouldn't get so hot that you can't touch it. That means then you're overwicked. Like in testing this, you can see how this wax is brown, because the last wick that I used in this got too hot, so it burnt the wax. It gave me a good hot throw, but the melt pool was too deep for just 1 hour. It's not all the way around, but it was still too deep for just 1 hour. And so, and you can see it didn't give me a full melt pool. You can still see some beautiful white there. Coconut wax will sometimes get brown no matter what, but no. So we're still testing this jar, and I'm not going to make very many of these because it's just 32 ounces. Now another trick for when you're candle testing, and I don't see any candle makers telling you to do this, get a big old jar. This is a 32 ounce jar, and make a big old batch of wax or of candle. Put your fragrance oil in, put your wax, do your thing, and use this for your testers. Once this is cured for your 2 weeks, I can melt this down and pour some of it in my smaller tins for testing, because this wax in here is already cured. So heating it up in the oven really low and slow. I put my oven at 170, 190, and it takes about 45 minutes, not even to melt this whole thing, but to get melted slow and slow, because you don't want to burn off the fragrance oil. And then once it gives me some liquid, I pour it in here for testing, as opposed to making a whole new candle. And these are my tester jars, these are all beat up. Making a whole new candle, adding new fragrance oil, then sitting and letting this cure. You have all of this all previously cured wax, and this is now maybe 6 weeks of this. So if I got to test more of these, I can heat up some of this. I have enough to test this jar plus this, etc., etc. You understand? Save yourself some time, get more out of the time that you have, because it's 2 weeks curing time. It's coconut apricot wax, some people will tell you 4 days, 24 hours. You might still want to do 2 weeks just to get that really strong smell. And so this will save you. Even if you're using soy wax where you need to do the 2-3 week cure, do it this way. Okay, so right now I'm going to wick, or I have wick tested these. Now this is zucchini bread. When I first smelled this out of the bottle, this is another thing you hear a lot of candle makers tell you: don't take the fragrance scent how it is straight out of the bottle. Smell it in wax, because when I smelled this in the bottle, this was, no, why does this have great reviews? This is full 5 stars on Nature's Garden. How? This thing smelled bad? But, well, to me. But I put this thing in wax because I don't really like the smell. But let me see. It's got full 5 stars. Let's see. And people are raving about this on the Facebook groups. This thing smells so good. Masha, and it's a strong, I don't want to say bready, it's just, yes, this is definitely one of my bakery collection. But this one I did wickless testing, so you see how beautiful the tops are. Well, I didn't mess up the top of that, but because when I poke the holes, I use a piece of wire. People say you can use the skewers, but the skewers are much fatter compared to this little piece of wire, which is the diameter of my my wick. I can get a tighter fit of the wick when I use this little piece of copper wire. It's not easily bent. So my wicks are not secured to the bottom of my vessel. I just poke the holes, put it in. If these wicks are not good in this vessel, while the wax is still hot, I will pull out the wicks, and the hot wax will fall in the holes, and I'll let it stay. If the tops, like for example, let's say it didn't give me a full melt pool, I don't think I have any that are like that now. Like here, like this red one. See how it burned? It did not give me a full melt pool, so there's like a sink, a crater in there. If I take this wick out to test another wick, and this Eco 6 in this jar works beautifully, it's just that I want to wooden wick these. So this gotta come out. Inshallah. I might keep it, this gotta come out. So when I take this out to test it with a wooden wick, I'll pop it out. I will pop in the wooden wick, and then I'll heat the top so it gets a smooth top and gets a fresh burn, and it gets to create its own melt pool, as opposed to having to work from this melt pool and then get that little bit. Okay, so that's one another tip. So, and I don't use, of course, a full wick. I take my, these are 2 CD2s. So I took one. These are CDN wicks from Hive and Honey Co., which is a black owned candle supply company in Michigan. Look at how small this wick is. Coconut wax wicks need cooler wicks. The Eco series that I have, I bought a whole bunch of Eco wicks from the Flaming Candle, the entire series. I packed them all in here. So all my Eco wicks are here, as opposed to putting them in a bundle and then I'm like pulling out CD. No, this is the Eco, but the round Eco. So all the Eco wicks are in here. And I find the Flaming Candle has one of the best, because I found another one. Prices for sample sets. This is 25 of each wick for a sample for $3 and change. Call it $4. That's a really good price, because a lot of the other companies sell you sample wick sets, 5 wicks for $5. Come on, man. You know that candle makers are testing like crazy. We go through wicks when we're testing. You're gonna give me 5 wicks for $5 because they're trying to force you to buy the 100 pack. So then you end up like a wick hoarder with a whole bunch of wicks that you don't need, because you only really needed to test 10 of them, but they only offered 5 and it was worth the money. So Flaming Candle, thank you so much for being sensitive and being real with what candle makers go through, you know. So I have the Eco series, but these burn too hot for coconut wax. Coconut wax needs cooler wicks, smaller wicks. If you know coconut oil, just by touching it, look, this candle here, the little smur that I have on it is from whatever wax I got pushed up when I made the holes. But just from touching the surface of this, look at how oily my hand is. Coconut wax, and that's just from little finger body heat. Coconut wax will melt easily. Another thing that I'm looking into right now is shipping this wax, because when the summer months come, shipping this, I might have to up the price of each of the candles by about $2 to cover the cooling packs and the cooling film to go around the candle and put in the box. That'll help make sure that the candles don't melt on their way to you. I'm also gonna have to change my shipping days to only shipping on Mondays and Tuesdays, just so that once I ship on Monday and Tuesday, it's going to be a 3-day shipping. You're definitely, inshallah bi'ithnillah, going to get your package within 3 days. If I ship out on a Friday, it's going to sit in the warehouse on Sunday. You probably can get on Monday. The cooling pack might not make it. Allah knows best. So shipping days will be on Mondays and Tuesdays, but that doesn't mean do not place your order on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Please place your order. That just means that I will have it sitting there packed ready. I'll have your cooling pack in the freezer. It'll be just sitting there waiting for Monday or whenever to just pop a cooling pack in that joint, close it up, dash to the mailbox. Understand? So another one that I'm testing all of these. And when you do your candle wick testing this way, by making a big batch that you can pour in several of your smaller ones, or just keep on stash. And when this one starts to get empty, I'll make another big one to keep, so that that can sit and start curing, to be ready for any other testing I have coming up, as opposed to, oh shoot, let me test this new fragrance oil, but I don't have anything sitting, or this new wick, I don't have anything sitting. So yes, this is the way. The other little tip that I have for you guys for wicking, which I think I already have another video on, is these. These are really cheap on Amazon. You know, this little vessel here doesn't need a whole 6-inch wick, which I think is the smallest, one of the smallest lengths you can get on a wick. I don't need a 6-inch wick for this. I need maybe 3-inch wick. So I can take my 6-inch wick, cut it in half, and one of these bad boys to the bottom of it. There's a video on my channel on how I do that. And from one wick, I now have 2 wicks to put in this. So whereas someone is looking at, why would you double wick it? You're spending more money on wicks. It looks better double wicked. Okay. This was one I was testing. Oh, this zucchini bread is so good. This is one that I was double testing. When you're burning this and it has 2 flames, it's just beautiful, mashallah. And because it's 2 flames, you get more of a scent through, you know. So I'm still using 1 wick, but I gave my customer a better deal for it. You know what I mean? Inshallah. And I don't know how long I'll keep these tins in. Let's see if these sell really well, then I'll keep them in. But these ones, we'll see. Like, that's why I have so many different vessels and so forth. See what sells, what doesn't. You know, put them on sale and don't restock them. What does, keep it coming. What, you know, keep a good thing coming, inshallah. So shout out to all of that was helpful to you guys. You know, like I said, try and get a piece of wire or a toothpick instead of the skewers. Your wicks are not that thick. HTPs 1212s are probably this thick, but when you make a hole to put your wick in, that is bigger than this, that's smaller than this, you know, got a whole lot of air and gap between your wick and the wax. And your wick needs to touch the wax in order for you to really be able to test it. So if you do it with the skewer, just flash the top, let some of that melted wax get down into the hole, take, you know, let it set, and then you can test that wick, inshallah bismillah. My intention is to have my gold vessels, these red vessels, and the other colors that Allah willing, Allah Ta'ala give me the funds, I'll be adding the other colors to this same size, from the same company, but more colors. These are going to be wooden wicked with a crackling wick with nice fireplace sound, and I want to put wooden wicks in these 16-ounce mason jars as well. So yeah, I think that is everything. I also want to do some citronella candles for the summer, for the spring, sorry, but we will see, inshallah bi'idhnillah. I think I've covered everything wick wise. You know, there's another company that I saw that had some really good, it wasn't under their sample packs. They had a sample pack that was $5, 5 wicks for the $2, and 25 wicks for $3 and change, which was a good price. But it wasn't their sample set, it was just a smaller set of wicks. And then of course they had their regular 100 wicks for whatever. It was something Sultan wholesale candle. I will check my browser history. I saw it last night and I'll put it in the description if I remember. If I don't, somebody comment. Like I said, to support a small business, you don't need to spend your money. I've said this in a few of my videos already. Like, share, save the video, comment a heart, a star. It doesn't have to be an actual comment to be a comment. You know what I mean? Emojis are also picked up from the social media algorithms. So all of that, even if you share it and you know that person ain't gonna open it, but it was shared, even if they open it and was like, why'd she send me this, and close it, it was shared. You know what I mean? And that's what the algorithm is going to pick up. So please like, share, subscribe, comment your emoji, comment a raised hands or something. Inshallah, bismillah. I appreciate you guys. Any questions, again, please feel free to reach out to me. If you have any ideas for videos, let me know. And I'll try my best to keep you guys updated. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.